I'm Sarai.
And I'm Haley.
And this is Seamwork Radio.
Welcome back to Seamwork Radio, where we share practical ideas for building a creative process so you can sew with intention and joy. And today we're talking about how to add built-in support to your handmade garments. We'll cover 5 different techniques that you can use to add support to everything from sundresses to tops to swimwear, why these methods can transform your summer wardrobe, and how to choose the right approach for your specific support needs. All right, Haley, so what is the most uncomfortable undergarment situation you've ever dealt with while wearing a handmade garment?
I can think of one that happened kind of recently. So for Stitch Fest 2024, which is an event that we have annually here in Portland, Oregon, and it's really fun. Last year we had like a live recording of the podcast, and it was a really good time. But of course, I wanted to make a special dress for the occasion. And I was fresh off of maternity leave and decided I'm going to make this like really cute dress. I forget the name of the pattern, but it had very wide neckline. And I truly underestimated just how wide the neckline was when I finished the dress and tried it on. I could not wear a regular bra with it. I needed a strapless bra. So I went to the bottom of my bra drawer and dug out my strapless bra. And because I was nursing, I felt like I was being strangled by a really horrible power mesh snake. I instantly started panicking. Like all last minute dresses you make for an event, this is like the night before at 8 p.m. I'm like, Nordstrom is closed. What am I going to do? So I went on Amazon and found a strapless bra that would be delivered in the morning. It was a blind purchase, and it was not great. It was better than the one that I was wearing, but the whole time and I'm on a stage.
Yeah. That's the worst.
I could just, in the back of my brain, the whole time I was like, bra, bra.
Was it painful or was it just falling down?
Both.
Worst of both worlds.
It was really oddly tight just along the top. So I felt like it was a weird bra. So definitely a bad experience. What about you?
I think all strapless bras are uncomfortable. I have one that I really like in that it's very supportive and actually stays up. Mm-hmm. But it gets more and more uncomfortable throughout the day and starts digging into my sternum really hard. It feels fine when I put it on, but by the end of the day, I'm like, get this thing off of me. Plus, when Lucy was a puppy, she found it and she nibbled the top of it. So it's got these little nibbles taken out of the top of the cups. One of the really uncomfortable experiences I had with undergarments and a handmade garment is I made a halter dress. It was with Sewaholic Lonsdale pattern.
Oh, I love that pattern.
And I still have the dress. I love that dress. But actually I have 2 of them. But the halter bra, I remember I was wearing with it one time. It's one of those convertible bras that you can put the strap around your neck, which is slightly preferable to a strapless bra because there's some support coming from above, but it was too tight, and I wore it one time and it was just dug into my neck so hard that I had a welt on the back of my neck afterwards. That's how uncomfortable it was. So bras can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, yikes. Painful.
I wish I didn't have to wear one. If I were a size where it was comfortable to not wear a bra, I would not wear a bra ever.
My dream.
All right. Well, if you have an icebreaker for us, leave your question in a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and we'll probably use it in a future episode. We'd love hearing questions from you guys. All right. So for you guys, have you ever made a really beautiful summer garment and then realized that you have absolutely nothing to wear underneath it? I know that I've done that more times than I can count. So every summer, I find that I'm having the same dilemma. I make some kind of beautiful sundress or a top with really perfect narrow straps or a statement back design. And then I realize I don't have the right undergarment to wear with it. So over the years, I've spent way too much money on specialty bras, strapless bras, adhesive bras, convertible bras that I just mentioned, that halter bra that did not work out so well, and trying to find solutions for all these beautiful garments that I've made. But I found a much better approach, which is simply building the support right into my garments when I can. And it's actually easier than most people think, and it can completely transform how comfortable and confident you feel in your clothes. When you know you don't have to worry about straps showing or things shifting around, you can just relax and enjoy wearing what you've made. So today, I want to share 5 different techniques that we've used successfully to add support to handmade clothing. And these methods work for everything from casual tops to dresses to swimwear, and they can be adapted for different levels of support needs too. So, Haley, do you usually consider support when you're planning your summer sewing projects in particular?
Definitely. The dress that I mentioned before was like a total brain fart. But usually I'm pretty conscious of it when I'm making my pattern and design selections, when I'm working on my summer sewing.
Yeah, me too. Well, I really like strapless and like spaghetti strap things, especially in summer. I really enjoy wearing those. So I really try to think about how I'm going to actually support my body while I wear them.
Yeah, and like you mentioned before, I really like how unfussy it is to have a garment that has that built-in support. So whenever I have the opportunity to, I love to create built-in support. What types of garments do you find most challenging when it comes to figuring out the support situation?
For me, the most challenging are things that are kind of billowy, but also strappy, which is something,
Yes.
a look that I like. I do wear that. And that can make it a little bit more difficult because something that's a little bit more structured, it's a little bit easier to figure out how to add support to a more structured, compressive garment than it is to something that's meant to be very flowy and light. So that can be a little bit tricky. What about you?
That's a great one. That is a challenge. Also, things that are backless can be pretty challenging. For me, my bust is a size that I need to rely on like negative ease and like a band of some sort to like give me the support that I want. A lot of times backless can be really challenging unless it's quite structured.
I'm the same. I can't really do backless very comfortably most of the time.
Yeah, I've done the tape. I've done some like tape before, and that's kind of the only workaround that I've found, but it's not my favorite. It's a little sweaty and doesn't feel good taking it off.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into some tips. So the first one is to add a shelf bra if you want light to medium support. I love shelf bras.
It's my favorite.
It's great. A shelf bra is probably the easiest way to add support to a garment. It works especially well for those that have smaller to medium busts, but I think it can work for just about anybody, depending on the garment itself and how they work together. Our new citron dress pattern actually has a shelf bra built in, and it adds a surprising amount of support. So I'm really excited to make that one because I just love to be able to throw something on and not have to worry about the undergarment situation. It's so nice, especially in summer. So here's how you create a basic shelf bra. First, you cut an identical bodice lining piece from a stable, comfortable fabric. And I like to use cotton lycra or a power mesh for this. And then you sew this lining to your bodice at the neckline and the armholes, and you do this before adding your straps. Then finish the bottom edge with plush back elastic. That's really important because regular elastic can feel scratchy against your skin. So plush back elastic is meant specifically for lingerie and undergarment kind of applications, and it's much more comfortable to wear. So you finish the lining with the plush back elastic, and that is separate from the actual rest of the garment. So it's really, really pretty simple. It's something that you can do with a pattern like Citron that has it built in, but you can also draft your own just by copying the actual pattern. So here's a pro tip that really makes a big difference. Make your shelf bra slightly smaller than your actual bodice. So if you're drafting your own, I like to take the pattern piece and reduce it by about 5 to 10% horizontally, just for a snugger and more supportive fit. And that slight tension creates a little bit more support. So that's just a little tip for you if you're making your own shelf bra.
And I've even done this with woven dresses before. I used to have a hazel dress, which is an old Colette pattern. And the neckline it has sewn on straps, and the neckline is finished with a facing. And I sewed a cotton lycra extension onto the bottom of the facing and then added plush back elastic. And it was great. It was super comfortable.
Perfect.
Our next idea for adding additional support is to incorporate foam cups or shaped support. Foam cups are a go-to when you want to add a little bit of shaping as well as support. They're especially great for bodices with princess seams or for swimwear. And there's actually 2 different approaches that you can take when using foam cups. Option 1 is a sewn-in cup. First, you'll purchase your foam cup in your size, and you can find really good ones online at places like Wawac or Bra Maker's Supply, which is my personal favorite. Position them between your fashion fabric and your lining, and then you'll pin them in place. You can use safety pins here so you don't poke yourself. And then hand stitch around the perimeter of each cup, catching only the lining fabric so that the stitching doesn't show through the outside. This is a really great option if you want to have like a little bit of the modesty from the foam cup and a little bit of shaping, but it's not necessarily going to provide a lot of lift. Option 2 is a removable cup. You can create a small opening in the lining or in a shelf bra. We do this in the citron dress that we were talking about earlier. And you'll want that opening to be about 3 inches wide. Make a pocket from lightweight mesh or lining fabric, and then you'll insert the cups through the opening and into the pockets. This is great because you can remove them for washing or replace them as needed. When shopping for foam cups, look for ones that have a smooth edge rather than a sharp cut edge, which can create a really visible line. I look for molded or contoured cups typically. Those have the most natural shape. And I like to cover my cups with a thin layer of the same lining fabric that I'm using in my garment before inserting them. This really helps them to blend in really seamlessly with the rest of the garment.
Yeah, I like using foam cups. It just adds a little bit of modesty too for certain garments. If you're using a thin fabric, it's kind of nice. The next idea is to sew a complete bra into your garment. So for maximum support, especially for larger busts or for those low back designs we talked about, you might want to consider sewing an entire bra into your garment. I did this with a backless dress once, and it was definitely a game changer for me. So there are 2 approaches that I've used successfully. The first is what I call cannibalizing your bra in that method. So purchase a bra in your size that fits well, and then carefully remove the straps and the back band. Obviously, you don't want to use a really expensive bra for this. Don't use your best bras for this. But you can actually use a bra that you've had for a while, even like an older bra, because a lot of times what gives out in bras is the elastic. And because this is going to be sewn right into your garment, the cups are usually still totally fine once the elastic has given out. So if you find you have a bra that has gotten a bit stretched out, this is a great way to repurpose it. So anyway, carefully remove the straps and the back band, and then you can incorporate the cups directly into your garment. And this is surprisingly easy, and it works beautifully for formal wear or special occasion dresses. It's a great way to add support to those kinds of garments. So that's the first method, the cannibalizing the bra method. The second method is building from scratch. So in this case, you'd use a bra pattern and then integrate it with your garment pattern. So this takes more skill, but it gives you really complete control over fit and support. And the key to this approach is securing the underwire channeling properly and creating enough tension across the back of the garment to support the weight of the bust, because it's that tension that really adds that support. So I like to use power net for additional support in the back panel of a backless design. And if you're new to bra making, but you want to try this technique, we do have an article on our website called How to Sew a Bra that breaks down all the technical terms and materials in a really approachable way. So that's another way to do it. I personally think cannibalizing a bra that you already have is a much easier way to go and can work really, really well.
When I used to sew wedding dresses, this was the approach that we would take, is just creating a bra and integrating it directly into the garment. And in a lot of custom clothing and high-end couture, this is most similar to the approaches that are used there. The next thing you can do is create convertible straps just for added versatility. Convertible straps are one of my favorite support tricks because they add a lot of versatility to your garment. This allows you to wear the same dress or top multiple different ways. You can wear it strapless for a special occasion or wear it with the straps for everyday wear. Here's how you're going to make them. You'll create small fabric-covered loops and sew them to the side seams of the bodice approximately at bra strap height. And you can modify the placement of these little loops depending on what kind of straps you want to have. You can have it halter style. You can have them crisscross. You can do it a number of different ways. Then you'll make your detachable straps with small, sturdy hooks at each end. You can reuse these from an old convertible bra or purchase them at a fabric store. For even more options, you can add additional loops at the center back or the center front, like I was saying, to create different kinds of neckline options. You can wear it crisscross with the straps for daytime and strapless for evening events, and it can add a ton of versatility. One thing you may want to consider if you're considering wearing it strap convertible is you may want to add a ring and slider to your strap so that you can adjust the length depending on the style that you're going to want to wear it. You could also, again, cannibalize this from an existing bra you have, but they're usually available at most fabric stores as well. You can create traditional straight straps just by cutting pieces of fabric along the straight of grain, or you can do more decorative options like twisted straps or braided straps. I have a bunch of braided straps pinned to my details board right now that are so lovely. Or even using a clear elastic strap for the invisible look. It's kind of invisible, kind of not.
Yeah, I don't think it's very invisible. Personally, I never really get those. I always feel like you can see them.
Yeah, I think it's like more for stage.
Yeah. At a distance.
At a distance. Yeah. Just make sure that whatever style you choose, it is strong enough to provide the support that you need for your specific bust situation.
Yeah. I used to have a strapless dress that had that. It had the little loops where you could put straps or you could wear it strapless. And it was so cute. I love that dress. It was from Anthropologie back when they made nicer clothes than they do now, I think.
I had a dress with convertible straps from Anthropologie too. They did used to have really nice clothes.
All right, next is the idea of using power mesh panels for targeted compression. So power mesh has really become my secret weapon for creating support in garments without adding extra bulk. So this is a stretchy but really strong mesh fabric. It provides gentle compression. It can be really strategically placed exactly where you need support. So I've used power mesh in several ways. As a full lining and a bodice, if you want overall light compression, as side panels in a dress for some waist definition and bust support, or as a midriff panel in a swimsuit if you want a little bit of tummy control. So the key is cutting the power mesh with less stretch than your fashion fabric. So it's usually 15 to 20% less. And this creates the compression effect while still allowing comfortable movement. And power mesh comes in different strengths. So I usually bring a swatch of my fashion fabric to the store to test how they're going to work together if I'm planning to use it. And if you're shopping online, you want to look for descriptions like firm power mesh for more support or soft power mesh for more gentle compression. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground today. Let's recap the 5 techniques we discussed for adding built-in support to your garments. 1 is adding a shelf bra for light to medium support. 2 is incorporating foam cups for more shaped support. 3 is sewing a complete bra into your garment for maximum support. 4 is creating convertible straps for versatility. And 5 is using power mesh panels for targeted compression. And remember, you can mix and match these techniques based on your specific needs. So, for example, you might combine a shelf bra with foam cups for medium support with good shaping, or convertible straps with power mesh for versatility and smooth lines. So what's your takeaway from our episode today, Haley?
I think my takeaway is that I always want my garments, especially my summertime garments, to feel really effortless and not fussy to wear, and that it's always worthwhile to put in the extra effort on construction details like added support so that I can get that effect. Because ultimately, I can make a beautiful spaghetti strap dress to wear in the summer that I have dreams of like being like all floaty and effervescent and ethereal in. The moment I have to strap on a strapless bra, like all of those dreams are out the window. So taking the time, even though it feels fussier in the moment, it's going to be so much more effortless and easy to wear in the long term.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I think my takeaway for today is really just thinking about it seasonally and thinking about different support needs for different seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And even though summer clothes are really effortless, there are those extra concerns that you might have about what are you going to wear underneath. So I think it's something I'm going to try and incorporate into my summer wardrobe planning a little bit more. I try to think about it, but I don't really have a kind of a structured way of thinking about it. So maybe I'll just write a little note to self about this for summer. And if you want to try some of these techniques we discussed today, I mentioned our new Citron dress pattern, and it makes it really easy to get started. So the pattern includes step-by-step instructions for creating a built-in shelf bra with foam cups, which gives you the perfect amount of support for a really lovely summer sundress. So the Citron is a fitted knit dress with those classic sundress straps that would normally have you maybe digging through your drawer for a special bra. But with the built-in support, you can just slip it on and go. There's no hunting for the right undergarments. You can find the Citron pattern along with all our other patterns at seamwork.com. And if you're a Seamwork member, you can download it right away as part of your membership. And if you're not a member yet, head over to seamwork.com to learn more about joining our community of creative sewists. And that's it for us this week. If you like this episode, leave us a review. You can also follow us on YouTube at Seamwork Video. You can follow us on Instagram at Seamwork. And if you'd like to become part of the Seamwork community, head over to seamwork.com to learn how to join. All right, I'm Sarai.
And I'm Haley.
And this is Seamwork Radio.
Seamwork Radio is brought to you by the team at Seamwork. Seamwork's an online community that supports you in creating a wardrobe that feels right for you. When you join us at Seamwork, you become part of our private community of makers, and you also get access to monthly sew-along classes, a library of over 200 sewing patterns, and tons of great resources to help guide you through the sewing adventure that you choose. Podcast listeners can get half off a Seamwork Unlimited membership, which means you can download as many of those 200 plus patterns as you want at any time, and our community will be there to guide and support you. If you'd like to join us for half off, just visit seamwork.com/go/podcast50. You can also find us on Instagram at Seamwork, or visit our YouTube channel, which is called Seamwork Video. We love hearing from you, so let us know if there's a topic or a personal story that you'd like us to cover. Thanks for listening to Seamwork Radio.